Hello there, good afternoon and welcome. I'm Wormslayer2146. It's Sunday, the 4th of June 2023, and we're back for more tiny trains in Factorio today. Keep building that big rail grid we've started and seeing those little trains zipping around it. Been fun so far, been nice to watch them and to poke around a bit at a few of the kind of LPN bits, configurations, trying to learn a bit more about that as we go, see how it goes. We did grow the base by quite a few squares in the last session, but there's a few kind of planned in that we need to finish up, so I guess that's first thing to do today is finish what we're halfway through in terms of building those squares out. We've ended up with a bit of a pattern, I suppose, with a depot surrounded by other squares that our current blueprints make a bit of a awkward overlap with. So once we've built what we're halfway through, I'd like to go back to our kind of like design studio section and make a fresh blueprint that has the full 3x3 grid, so that we can kind of drop that in without having to fiddle with overlapping elements. While we're there, I feel like taking another look at RoboPort coverage. I do tend to underutilize the robots in the game, and I do feel maybe we should set things up so that they are capable of building out the grid without my involvement at all. That'd be kind of cool if they could, so we might revisit where we could align RoboPorts for like a whole base coverage without individual production cells getting connected to each other. It should theoretically be possible, but depending on the size of things, we only briefly looked at it when we first set things up. I'd like to take another look, so we'll probably do that at some point in this session. And once we've done that and updated our blueprints, we just keep building, I suppose, keep running in the big squares, getting the grid expanded. If we're lucky, we'll get some oil plugged in. So far we've set up the smelting of iron plate, copper plate, stone brick, and the raw resources feeding them are kind of insufficient already for the scale we're working at. So a lot of expansion to do for all resources, but a little bit of oil would be nice to get connected up. Then we might be able to start producing a few things within the grid that might, again, help expand it and build it out quicker, maybe. We'll see how it goes. In any case, let's hop back in. Back in the game, let the trains run, just check up. We finished this edge, we finished the top, so we just need to head east. A few squares to build in there, and then as I say, we'll hop back and do a little bit more design work and see how that goes. Do I need a resupply? I've kind of got enough for at least one square. Don't particularly need that. Yeah, so we should be able to do a little bit. Let's drive around the bottom and get started on something. Oh, a lot of trees there. I was never going to make it through that gap. We get everything named right. Looks like it. Everything's labelled up good. Cool. Bunch of spare squares, and we can do stuff in it. Any of them later. This is the first one we haven't built. I'll just park a little bit further along. We'll move the car around as we go, maybe. Hello Mondo. Happy Sunday to you. Hope you're well today. Not well. Fair enough. Hope you feel better soon then. How's the factory? Coming along nicely, I think. Certainly growing. I mean, here's our starter bit, and we're much physically bigger than that, although we're not doing much with the space at the moment. But we're growing, which is nice. And there's some tiny trains zipping around every now and again, doing some stuff, which is cool. Out for more of these trees while we're here. Is that station called then? We're in MQ, so MQ 46 North. Lives there, cool. Keep building. I do one square at a time, well that's not always that well organised. Half an eye on my microphone input. There are many neighbours out in their gardens today. I can smell a lot of barbecue. Hear a lot of screaming children. In general, it doesn't make it to the microphone, so it should be fine. Pretty warm, though. Very warm today, actually. Summertime, I guess. Do I want roboports? Because we've kind of cleared them out of these squares on the basis we're not going to have them for a while, but now I'm thinking of prioritising them. I don't particularly need them inside the squares so much though, so I think we can keep doing what we've been doing. I plan to not have them, put them in later if the production square needs it for production, rather than initially. So we might change the blueprint likewise when we go to change it. Or, you know, to make new ones. And some more of these poles in the middle. Do the right hand edge, did I? They were already placed with that one. Needs naming. MQ 47 South. Yep. Bunch more trees to chop down. Sure. Any purple dots within the grid there? No. That looks good. Okay, finish off this edge then. That's one square done when that's done. Move these trees out of the way of our robot friends. That is what, MQ 47 East? Yep. Bits missing in the middle there. Okay. Signals. It's good on this side. Plug all them gaps. Oh, not too far there. Yep. That's better. Missed a signal on the next one up. There. Good. Fixes that. And one down the bottom here, and then that's that square done, and we'll do the one next to it. Cool. Get that radar up and running, can start uncovering some more in the southeast if there's anything down there. See how it goes. Is there anything... We know we're missing out on that massive copper plot because it's a depot. It's annoying. But still. That's a depot, 1, 2, so we get all that. Need to scan a lot more to see anything really. No, we'll keep going, keep getting more radars up, I'll speed it up. Trees here that haven't been caught. Another, oh yeah, lying about. Good, they're done. Can build all across. Set the robot a bit, ran too quick. Oh well, I'll get a little recharge. What are we up to now then? After MQ comes MR. It's MR 46 north. How are we going to do the... If we're grabbing a blueprint of multiple squares, might be worth naming things in some fashion first. Just a bit awkward really. Just keep them with random names I guess and fix them all after we put it in. A shame we can't somehow get the game to work out what the next station should be called and automatically rename it. Maybe there's a mod that does that. Seems a bit too niche perhaps. The radar plugged in doesn't immediately uncover anything. See the edge of something there. Might just be a rock. Clear these trees out too. Hole there, oh no, there we go, fix that. If we were getting the base to expand itself, we would have trouble with the trees. And then we need to see them before we can mark them for destruction, so you need to get the radar in before we can mark them for destruction. It's just a little awkward. Otherwise we're going to be clearing little clumps of trees out from between the rails all the time, manually, after the building's done. But still, we can't build the entire base with me running around in squares. Well, you know, we can, just take a while. We've run out of rail, okay. I don't think it's worth putting anything else in without it, so we'll head back and resupply on rail. Top up on anything else. Come back down and carry on. Should be able to get all these squares done with one resupply though. We did a whole bunch with just one inventory full before. We'll see. Head back to the starter base, get what we need. Can I throw wood in there? Yeah. And a bit of stone too. Oh, that's a lot of trees. Just sneak through the edge there. Oh, this is all just ghost. I can drive straight through. Try not to hit the invisible poles. Anything else we need? Look kind of good on signals. Don't think we need many more of them. More train stops though. Definitely needed. More constant combinators. Didn't think we put them in yet, so probably not. Stations, maybe some more electric poles. Don't know. Seems like a lot, but we do use a lot in every square. Let's start with rail. Where's that? It was a start, I think. There it is. Let's grab the whole box full, I think. Yeah, that's fine. How many stations do we need? Like 8 and maybe 8, so 2 stacks would do it. And then if I think I'm good, at least for now, on signals, then I'll fill in the rest of the space with poles. And that'll do us for a while. That might not be enough for all those squares, but it'll get us close to finished, so. Let's head back down, keep going. Try and avoid the trees as we go. Although, ultimately, we're going to want them all chopped down. Driving through them isn't the most efficient way of chopping them down, I don't think. Might be faster than hand chopping them, though. Carry on with the square we started rather than just the closer one. Not sure what I just hit. A tree of some kind. The robots are now going to go funny. Let me switch them off for a second. I want to repair the car, but let's get them back in. They can't because I don't have space for the wood. You throw them in there. There we go. Got my robots back. Let's park back up on this edge. That'll do. Switch the guys back on. Start building down here. Did I need anything that I put away? The boxes and stuff? No, not for what we're building currently. Rogue free there, get rid of him. A couple here as well. Why not? While we're next to them. No trees allowed on my planet. Too much there, there we go. Missing a pole. There we go. Station is something new, so alphabet QRS, so that's MS47 West. QRS, let's see, 47 West, yep. Correct. Okay, we've done that edge, so move inwards a bit. This one is not the same, that is MR47 South. Yep. Any missing signals or anything along the bottom there? No, looks good. Head up this side. Move them ghosts as we're going near. So this one is MR47 West. That rail is done. Yep, don't see any little pink dots, so it must be good on that side. Head up and around the top. It's this end of the top, yeah, that much. That is MR47 North. Lots of trees to chop here. We're fine on inventory space though, so they will get done. Good. What are they wrong about done? Is that the top then? No little pink dots, no, just this one over here. And it's enough. I'm turning the fan on. It's been generally okay all day, but then I've had, you know, like blinds open or windows open wider and so on until now. Let's get that fan on before I become a sweaty gamer. Oh, that can be renamed MR47 East. And that's that edge done. Looks like it, yep. Still the poles in the middle then. And there's another square. Not the fastest almost threading thing in the world, but we're growing and that's pretty cool. I like it. More trees to dig out here, but I think that's then probably the last row I need to walk across. Lots all happy, yep. No pink dots. No, looking good. Up we go to the next one. Ooh, a train is moving. Robbing coal for their depot. No. That's named wrong. No, it's not. I did that last week as well. Didn't see the difference between MM and MN. He's taking it for the power generation. It's a little train. Okay, this one then MR48 South. Missed a little bit of rail there. There we go. Can build up this edge first, I think. Change that because I can see it. While we're here, might as well move the car up. They can build if I'm in the car, can't they? Can I build if I'm in the car? Okay. Be just careful not to run over what I'm building. Move the car up as we do this edge. Yeah, range, okay. Where do I want to be? Out of there. We missed. Fine. This is MS48 West. Looks like a bit too much. There we go. That looks better. Trees escaped marking, but that's all of them, I think. Maybe that odd one over there. There you go. I think that is the most efficient way. Anyhow, we're at the top of the square, so I'll park up there. Actually, a lot of these trees need digging out of the way. That means we're working on the next square already, but I'd rather just get this done. The trees out of the way. When he's marked up, yeah. In the middle still. Oh, these ones as well. It's fine, we'll do any others up there as we get there. Down here. Maybe just a little bit more off the edge here. That'll do for now. Do kind of wish I had generated well with even less trees, even fewer trees even. But oh well, it's done now. We just have to chop them down as we go. Should we do this? I think I'll work down this edge now actually. We've done the western edge of this square already. Up there later, or yeah, in a little bit. Station is MR48 East. Did we? Yeah, we put the trains into all the depots so far. Cool. Cool. So I don't need to do that. Cool. Lots of trains sitting around doing nothing. Hopefully we can give them jobs soon enough. Is that the edge done? Yeah, looks good. Okay, so I'm going to work back and forth doing the poles. It looks like it's not been yet. That signal wasn't done. Finish that up now. There he goes. Cool. To the next set of poles. It was good, good. Finish that row up, and then it should just be one heading back for the middle of this. And a bunch of rail, and so on. Getting there though, not bad. I say it isn't a fast process, but maybe we will look at getting the robots to help us speed it all up. Well, I'm not sure if they would speed it up per se. Just they'd do it in the background as we worked on other things, or they could do one side of the base while we did the other, or whatever. Not sure how well it'll work. The thing about having a base-wide robo coverage is bots tend to end up making really long journeys, having to recharge multiple times on the way through and so on. It might not be good. Not sure. You're travelling from wherever we store the materials, I suppose, so that might be the deal. If we're expanding in a certain direction, we have to move storage to that frontier or whatever. Might be a little awkward. Might be fine. This one, MR48 North. It's worth looking at laying it out anyway. If it doesn't work, then we can take the roboports back out, or leave them and do nothing with them, or whatever. And if it doesn't line up nicely, if I can't get a good design, then we won't do it anyway, so... you know. Well, I'm pretty sure it will. Let's do... same as what we just did. Head up this edge first and then back down. Did I miss anything? No. Looking good. All label up right. Yeah. As far as my eyes can tell. Let's move the car up again. Same as before. What's that one? That is MS49 West. There we go. Yeah, them trees could do with being cut back as well while we're in range. Section looks good. Nothing missed, no. Good. Not to crash into the radar. And get it powered up while we're here. Not that it's going to do much on this edge. I think we've built in the ones that are helping expand. There was another stone patch there. So just a bunch of rocks there. See what else we find. Right, those trees are not marked up. Let me just park up at the top here. Crash into that tree while we're there. Get these marked up too. Let's clear it out of it. Did I get... yeah, got all that down there. Build out the roundabout and head back southbound. Just throw... what would we have in there with its friends? Well, those trees not marked up either. We'll fix that when we build the middle in. It looks so good so far. This one lost MR49 East, I think. I'm pretty sure. Good, yeah. Anything missed on that edge? Do that stuff when we get to the top there. Yep, looks fine. Let's build the bottom. That is MR49 south. Signals there, they're not done yet. That's all good. That's all good. Is that the bottom finished up? Looks like it. No pink dots on the rails there. Yep. Doesn't particularly matter how we do this now. Just up and over maybe. Back and forth a bit. Change any of these as I see them. See that one very well on account of those trees. I'll have to do that when we get over there. That's station MR49 West. Cool. Oh, there we go. Got rid of it. Be there instead. Cool. Good. This set then. And what trees here? Okay. Very wooded square. Is that planned in? Good. Stay in range of the bottommost pole I've got to do and work our way over. Missed a few bits around there. Yeah, and a signal back there. Let the robot do it. Fine. Quite a bit of coal through, not a huge amount, but you know, the journeys have been going while we've been working quite a few times. Only drawing 20 megawatts of power, it's not that much. It's not a small amount, but it's not that much. Interesting. Nothing new discovered over there. All that built in. These poles in the middle done. And all these trees cleared out. Ah, these are not marked, okay. Try to remove the power poles in the process. All of them? Looks like all of them. Yep. I missed any power poles as we're building in? No. Looks good. Get the rail at the top done. Don't think that was the most efficient path around. Not sure that matters so much, but still. Just walk around it there, whatever. We could walk in diagonal patterns all over the place. It'd all get built eventually. These trees where we've parked, and actually if we're while we're here we can move the car forward to the next bit. Try not to abandon the robots in the process. looks fine. Yeah, just park here for now. I've labelled them, but that one is MR50 south. A whole bunch of trees to deal with again. A lot of them not marked either. A lot of them not. Okay. Not sure I can mark them without accidentally cutting some things out here. Bit in the middle. Nope. Keep catching signal. There we go, there's some. Those bits as well. Man, I hate trees. Or if there's a mod that just automatically marks them for dismantling if they're within a certain range of, like, you know, a building we place. It might be helpful. Or I can use the console to just delete them all off the map, I guess. Same thing, really. Just took the pole out by accident. Nope, should be there. Good. Be easier to chop these myself, some of them. While we're dealing with it, let's deal with this chunk of trees as well. A bit of rail accident. Didn't think I had. Never mind. Just when I'm dragging, I'm checking what it says I'm going to delete. Like in this case, just some wood, but oh well. There we go. What the little stragglers while they build in nearby rail. I think that's that sorted. Don't see any more trees there. I'm quite likely that at some point I will just lose my patience with the trees and rocks and use the console to despawn them from the whole map. At some point. I already did it for the rocks around the spawn point with quite a big margin, but obviously not big enough, or I missed a type of rock maybe, because there's still a lot of them around. Maybe I missed one of the types. I can do it again when I get really fed up with them. Station there, MR49 North. And just a little bit of rail to the east. That is that square done. Looks good. Don't see any little one signal in the north. Sure. We can go do that. Thank you, Mr. Robot. We'll do a bit more head south, I think, do this edge. Just build somewhere. Good. That station can be named. What's that then? MQ49 East. Cool. Do kind of wish the radars had a bigger range. It doesn't reach very far. Look, the adjacent squares have one, the one below, and there's still a dark patch there. Oh well. Too used to having mods that give you stronger everything, I guess. Okay, is that edge looks good. Okay, I'll just head all the way over. Fill in the middle of all of it. Perfect. dig out. The trees are in the middle of all of it. Almost there though, just these 2 half squares to do, and we'll have built in these blocks. End up confusing myself doing that. Why? We should build up here. Do this edge. I think we should. 1 square at a time. Oops. It's not meant to poke that way. Oh, that station is MQ49 West. Just build up into the corner a bit more. Mark that tree. If I can get just the tree, there we go. Oh, and these trees. Why not marked either? There we go. And then troublesome little trees. Make sure we're covering everything. Head across here. This is the oil field, so we might tap that later. Yeah. Still not really sure how we're going to deal with oil and the balancing of it. Half an idea is just build in tons of storage for each of the refined liquids, and have the option to go over and flush them manually if I need to. I mean, hopefully we can just keep things reasonably balanced, consume enough of each element to keep it good, but generally I end up with it backlogging. We'll see how it goes. And, as I say, I can always just add a flare stack mod to deal with it. Squares built over. Let's do the top of it, heading back. He's gone a long way. Right. That station is MQ49 North. Seems good. Let's head up to this edge. Build here. Did I miss anything? Not on that side. The internals of that square are done. Good. Tree in the middle there. And marked. That station is MQ50 South. I guess that's one thing. Even once we've updated our blueprint to be the full block, it will overlap still, won't it? Maybe we'll change that too, so the names don't get overstamped as we go. Maybe. You can change it, just the reason we have the bit that overlaps is it creates a route for the train on the outside line. That if we didn't have I'd take the next one over, I guess. It might be fine. Should be fine. We'll give it a go, maybe. We're almost there. One more square to finish off, and then we can go take a look at those blueprints in the editor extensions lab. We have the stuff to finish this, probably. Just enough stations, plenty of signals, and enough rail, probably. Maybe not enough medium poles, might be the only thing. We'll see. Go down this edge and then work up from the bottom. If we run out, it'll be close to the top that we run out. Might just have enough those. We are in the middle of one. That's 200 poles, which we don't have. Okay, so we are going to run out. Fine. Now that station, if my mouse wheel will play along. MP49 East. Good. There's that edge done. Looks like it. Don't see any pink dots. Good. Let's work across then. So I might go over to that square, the one square where we did put roboports in, and just dig them out, just to be consistent. There's no point in them having it like that unused square has them and all the other unused squares don't. We might as well keep them for somewhere specific where we do want to use them. Which might be between everything. Them in the right place. That many poles if we walk along there. Yep. Oh. So I had enough poles to make it this far. Okay, I'm about to run out. Yep. We are out of power poles, okay. Let's build in the other stuff, I guess. Sure. Doesn't really matter either way. Oh, 2 stations as well. I've got 2 left. That's exactly the right number. That's lucky. Not that it matters. We're going back for poles. We could pick up more stations as well. Still. Kind of fun to have exactly the right number. That one is MP49 North. That's the last of that. So other than the power poles, no pink dots around the rail. Cool. Let's finish this last bit, or actually I'll drive over in a second. Let's finish this last bit. That station MP50 South. And signals, is it? Your lot looks good. Don't see any pink dots around there, or any of the ones we've just done. Okay, almost there then. Let's find the car. Where did I leave that? Over here. I think I can see it on the minimap. It's either a car or a rock. It's the car. Good. Yeah, let's head up to the starter base and grab them poles we need. Dog Push the trees on the way. What's where poles? Just here, I think. That'll be plenty to finish off what we're in the middle of, and we'll come back for more pretty soon, but we'll come back for. That's fine. Hey, Lost and Found. Nice to see you again. Hope you're having a good weekend. Let me not try and read chat while driving. Did you know in the map view cars and tanks show up as triangles? Yeah, that confused me initially. Because it was... I was parked like this way up. And there's like a red triangle that looks like a warning sign or something. Like there's something wrong here. But yeah, it's a car facing that direction. It's not dissimilar to the train really. Like it has its own little shape and everything. Direction it's facing and everything. Just cool. It is helpful. It's one of those things, you know, I was saying earlier, I've always undervalued the robots, and I've always undervalued having a car as well, really, and walked everywhere really slowly, which is in a base of this scale a bad idea to walk everywhere, I think. That's where we need to build. I just want to drive through, I think. Let me switch the robots off for a second. Don't want to drive on the rail because trains could come this way. I want to drive across in a safe gap. I'm asking for trouble, but I'm sure we'll be fine. Just this square here where I put the roboports in and we don't really need it. That's why you use PAX trains. Passenger, isn't it? So you like just drive your own train around. Which, yeah, good idea actually. It would block routes, I guess, but we have enough alternate routes, that shouldn't really matter. There, that's that. So I've got a handful of roboports, but we will need more if we go ahead with the general idea. Trying to turn myself around safely. Yep, back the way we came. You have it drive you. Ah, sure, you choose your destination. Yeah. Have it on an automated route, but choose your own destination. Not an automated route, you know, have the train set to automatic. Yeah. Oh, ads. Can see that, can't I? Yeah. Could do something with that, couldn't we? Possibly. Half a thought on that. Just a few poles. Let me check. Pink dots. No, we're good. I think we're good. And everything we've built seems fine. Just finish this top edge. Keep the robots happy. Good. I think we've done them. They're all done. They're all done. I don't see any pink dots saying we haven't built anything. And our 3x3 blocks around each depot are good. Cool. Sorted. So I guess, not easy everywhere. Back, good. Some of our places are like the iron mine here. We have 3 stations we're not using. So we could say, you know, MP47 West becomes MP47 West PAX, or we pick ourselves a little symbol that reflects us. Is there a there's a compilatron icon, is there a player icon? Ghost. Yeah, character. Sure. And just park a train in some of them, or at least one of them, the one we're nearest. And travel between them. And there should be enough unused stations around this place that we'd be able to get to good areas with it. Could work. Couldn't be bad. Or, you know, we have a train in the back pocket and send it to whatever station anywhere and then just pick it up and get it out of the way after we're there. Couldn't be bad. Tend to use like hashtag sign in the name. Oh, to move them to the top of the list. Yeah, that's a good idea. Well, how does it sequence characters like that? So I guess if all your stations have characters, it wouldn't really matter. But if we've got names and we put a symbol before it, do they go to the top of the list? Doesn't look like it. No, it looks like it sends them to the bottom of the list. Okay. The opposite of what you're after. So yeah, just a symbol that moves it to the top, or, you know, 1 or whatever. Make it easier when you're picking where to go if they're all at the top. Does make sense. It's cool. It's a good idea. We may end up doing it if we need to, depending on how we end up getting around. I mean, you can always just take a train out of a depot, drive it off somewhere, and then send it back to the depot when you're done. Or install Jetpack mod and fly everywhere quickly instead. I don't know. We'll see. At the moment, we're not like that big that I'm worried. Makes it much easier to find. Yeah, between the two. Yeah. Yeah, makes sense. It's good. In any case, we've built all that. It means it's time to hop into here. And maybe just find a new spot to work in. Let's go down here. If I get one of our previous, I don't know where they are. Maybe they're not even here. There's the depot. You just stick one of them down here. I don't have. Oh, I've got, no, that's my inventory back home. Do I not have the regular square? I guess I don't. Sure. Let me grid square, export, copy into here and import into here. There we go. But I do want to change it. I'm going to remove the roboports from this one, and the main deal is we know where they would go if we do build them in the future. And that's actually the wrong way around of doing it, isn't it? If I then copy that, build the outsides, and strip the inside. So all the weird bits that overlap funny are not there. Then I can take the depot. Just got to put that in without any funniness. Seems good. Then we have the whole grid. But I thought we should take the outside lines out. So we want to go like halfway through. Yeah, about that. Take that signal with me. There we go. There. So the downside is there's no pathway around the outside without that, but there's still the corners they need. They are driving up this way, so they can go around that still. They just can't go back down. If they want to go back down, they need to go to the next one over, which is okay, I guess. When you grab the whole thing, you then don't overlap, you used to line them. It's got all the signals and it seems good, yeah. Should be okay to do that. I quite like I would quite like to have the full outside, but it would just mean when we paste down, the names of some of the stations get reset, which I prefer to avoid. So maybe we try it like this. We can keep the old blueprints we've got, no reason to get rid of them, and that's another option we can use, but at least we'll have this. In general, I would use this. But before we grab it, let us consider roboports. Do I have some? Yeah, you just place one I can copy. So again, they don't cover a huge area, a bit like the radar that I've complained about earlier. What I want is to not put them inside the grid. So the 4 that we would have in the grid won't join with the ones I'm thinking of, but they will cover everything in the green coverage. In particular, they need to cover the next one, which is fine because to be in the same network, they need to touch the orange grid, the smaller one. There's one in the middle of here is like one thought. Replacing the radar would be too many, I guess. So yeah, middle would be fine, other than there's no power poles there. That's a little awkward. Or very awkward, but we can work that out. Didn't end up helping me. Let me just put that on there temporarily. Or until I forget. How big are they? They are bigger than a radar. So 4x4. Which means they line up in... Yeah, other than the signals get in the way, sure. But that should centralize itself perfectly, which is nice. Then the next one needs to be attached to it, so it has to go there at most. Put this one where that is. Sure, and then it can be there at most, which puts them a bit close, but whatever, it's fine, really. Or we extend the maximum distance in the middle, or some arbitrary bit in between, like, you know, in line with the cross above, or touching that one signal on the right, or whatever. Tend not to use mass bot networks to segregate them. Yes. So the big picture on this network is building the next train grid. So say we have... This mouse wheel is killing me. There. We have this built in and we want to build the next one. And we have the blueprint of the lot. And we stamp it in here. We want it to build itself out. Sorry, microphone. Pardon me. Without me having to run out there and do it. So if like this network that we're building needs to join the old network so that the robots can carry on building into it. After they've built it, it could disconnect from the old network in theory, but we would need the construction elements for the next grid over to be available in the grid that's building it. And I think the only realistic way of doing that is by having one massive grid. You could set up the production of those elements again elsewhere, or we could have a station that requests all the needed items to be delivered to it, and it just has a bunch of storage chests, or buffer chests. That's an option, actually. We produce all the items onto the train grid, and then a certain number of blocks has a requester station in it that just takes all those items and makes them available to a local bot network. Can do. It would need to be bigger than this, though. We wouldn't want 1 out of every 8 squares to be requesting those items, I don't think. That's a bit overkill. And it wouldn't be able to build the next square out unless it joins it. Interesting. Made a blueprint that has all the stations that are needed. Use Spidertrons to place the items. Interested. I've never used Spidertrons before. So not really sure what they're capable of, I guess. Main thing. Train carries the distance, the Spidertron does the placing. So what's the advantage of a Spidertron over a robot? Is it just they don't need a network? They can just build wherever? I guess. Controllable character. Right. You get a remote control and you can tell it, go and build this. So you're still, like, you're building it, but you don't have to run around. You just tell it to do the running. Is that not the same? I mean, you just have to, unless you can give it an entire blueprint and say build this whole thing, you still have to instruct it around. It can have robots within the Spidertron, sure. It can get the equipment, not the equipment, the items you need, carry them in an inventory and go and build it. But how, so if I have this whole blueprint and I go and place it down somewhere, how does it build it all? Right. You tell it to go to a spot, the robots build around that area, you move it on, it builds around that area. So what's the difference between doing that and me walking down and having my robots do it? I guess it doesn't sound faster, or maybe it is just inherently faster, but it sounds like exactly the same process. Rather than me walking down, I tell the Spidertron to walk down. I guess. I don't know. Full Regret, hello. Welcome in. Nice to see you. Hope you're having a lovely Sunday. Spidertrons can follow each other. Oh, cool. So if they could handle a maximum of 20 bots each, you could have a chain of them all with 20 bots in order to do more, which is good. That would speed things up, definitely. I'm not sure. It just doesn't seem... Can't quite see the advantage over a bot network. A localized bot network. Like if we... Put these and let's say we place these upwards. That's there. That in theory is there, which means that's there. If we removed the edge ones, we just, yeah, you don't get enough coverage without the edge ones. And it can't build the next one over. So it's, yeah, bridging the gap to the next one over, I guess. Which is Spidertron, you just tell it move over there and it bridges the gap. Yeah, not sure. It's interesting. Looks like the software you make PCBs in. That's interesting. I have never made a PCB myself, but interesting that it looks the same. Or similar. It's quite likely the person who made the mod that designed this works in that kind of thing. As complicated as these things are. If you have enough Spidertrons, you can set the path for them to take. They build out along the path until they run out of items. Which way tell them to go back and they get refilled. Yeah, we have to tell them. I don't know if it's an inherent instruction or perhaps there's a mod that would let us deploy the Spidertrons automatically. But even then, it's like the stage one, so we send a Spidertron to the middle of a new block, and that somehow triggers others to just walk out to the construction points they need to stand at to get it done. But that's not... I don't know, the only advantage I can see over the robots is that it lets us build the next square without connecting. So if we want to build the next block over, we can send a Spidertron to the middle of it and it will start building outward or something. Cool, don't have anything that allows for it. And fair enough, fair enough. then, you know, there may be a mod that we've just not seen, but it might not be a thing. It's equally fair. So finishing my thought process is we can't just bring the trains in with the goods to a specific point and have the robots build outwards, because those robots aren't there yet. The old robots need to come over and build it. So we can manually just move where the depot of required construction materials is, and that will direct the robots closer. So we might need just a blueprinted square that has those requests and that storage and everything that we put in every now and then, and switch the old one off when we do it. Could be a thing. Interesting. Next reason is you have like 20 spiders that just lay landfill. Sure. 11 that just laying solar. Clearing the trees and the rocks. Yeah. The micromanagement of it though, without being able to like automate that recursively, is that the word for it? That might be the word for it. Like, yeah, what's the advantage over just going there yourself and doing it? I mean, obviously, like sticking to vanilla mechanisms, it probably is a big advantage. But if you could just fly over there at light speed and do it, I don't know. It's interesting. My thing I need to also just finish the thought process on, if we build this all the way around. Right, no, down a bit. There and there, yeah. There, that corner needs doing, and there, so that's like full coverage. And there is a spot in the middle, 4 power poles that are not reached by those roboports. Damn. Still has to have the landfill laying in one area. Clearing comes in behind it, or around it, whatever, yeah. Solar comes in behind it. Right, because they can follow each other. Sure. Just send them in a direction. I guess it's just something I need to play with in order to see it in action, then I can come to understand better how it might help, potentially. I want to fill the middle, we need to move the robots closer, but the other issue is, where's the other network going? It's too close. Damn. That is that one. So it goes there, for example. I remember exactly where. Let's see the outline. Right, if that's there, it's one away from there, so it's one away from there. No, that's not right. Just remove these so I can see what I'm doing. It was like touching the rail, right? So there. And then that pole went there. Put those back in quicker. Yeah, so what I didn't want is for that roboport to join those ones. Because if we're going to have logistics robots within a square assisting in the production of something by whatever means, I don't want them going to the square next door. We want them to be isolated within their job, which, you know, we can make happen by having a smaller robo coverage within the grid. You know, if you keep it so that those yellow lines don't attach, just have one there and then one like there and so on. It's not ideal, really not ideal, and we can't use them to unload from the station. It's one other thing. We need to move it closer. Restricts the space a bit, which might not actually matter. At the point where we're using robots to do the logistics of stuff, they're probably moduled up so much it'll be going. It'll be a very small production chain going very fast, I imagine. Just how you deal with it. Yeah, no, absolutely. I always like hearing how people do things. It's not necessarily going to be something we can implement, but it's still worth considering and maybe experimenting with and stuff like that. I mean, I'm here in this sandbox from the mod. I don't know if I can make a Spidertron do stuff here. Should be able to. I can find where all the pieces are. Logistics, Spidertron, and Spidertron remote. Send simple move commands. So there's your Spidertron. It has a bunch of weapons, sure. An inventory, an equipment grid, and logistical instructions. What it should carry. Sure. Auto trash other stuff. Good. But it's still, yeah, you still need to give the general instructions, I guess, the blueprints to build, the deconstruction orders on the stuff you want to get rid of. Then you are not using the remote, not connected, left click to connect, and then, yeah, move him. But you can, like you say, slave them. If I build another one. Use my same remote to... No, I'm going to be looking for a... like, unselect. No, that's unbuild. Do you need multiple? Oh, there you go, it did. Well, unbuilding it removed the connection, I guess. It just moves him. It's some keyboard shortcut. Yeah, no, I don't know. I guess you need to look up the controls or whatever. Shift when clicking for movement. Is it like waypointing kind of thing? Yeah. Can't set up a patrol by clicking on the same point. It doesn't look like it. No. Okay. These guys. So do I need a second? What else do I have? Color module. Yeah. Connect him to him instead. Control click the entity for following. Possibly doesn't work in this. That is connected to that Spidertron, and if I control click that one, it just moved him next to it. Control right click won't work because that'll throw that in there. Oh no, it is following him. Okay, it just the instruction moves, sure. And they are creepy looking as well. Yeah, it doesn't do what I want because it isn't automated. It does do a better job than the robots of the specific thing we're trying to do, but it's not automatic. We need to still instruct it to happen. And for it to keep moving on. As it is, I don't know. It's better in some ways and not necessarily what I want. Then again, this doesn't line up in a way that I want either. Aside from, yeah, they're not actually powered as well as one issue. I guess we'll need to do that different, maybe with large power pole. Join them. Oh, too far. Interesting. Join them and then connect it and join that. Good enough. So that one goes connecting to that pole like that. Then on that side of them, connect to that pole, connect to there, sure. Just missed the ones on this corner. That ain't so bad, other than we'd need to make large power poles, which I generally don't, you know. You can ride the spiders. Well, yeah, you can drive them like a car or whatever, and then the other guys could follow you around. Which is still an improvement, I guess. It's an advantage over the car because I wouldn't crash into anything with the spider. So I mean, when we can make one, it's probably worth making at least one just to ride around. And it can carry more bots. There's definitely something to it. I mean, a fully kitted out one that we just ride around and build with might be better than this. Because it's what we're doing at the moment, just a lot faster. Could be the answer. Because this, when we build this out, there's going to be 4 power poles missing in the middle of every square. And it's not going to get built out unless we connect the grid inwards with these. Like if you allowed it to connect up, then you get coverage into the middle, but I don't want that. I don't want the coverage in the middle to join with the outside. So I mean, we can just live without the 4 power poles in the middle, and then when we come to use the square, we put them in, add them in if need be or something. It's interesting. 100 bots in each, you have 100 the number of spider bots working once. Yeah. Which is a lot, actually. There's not, I mean, one of these squares isn't that many items, is it? Well, I say that, it's a lot of rail. 10,000 maybe items. Wouldn't take long to build with a well-directed fleet of spiders. It's about, yeah, what happens when you place it down. So we place the blueprint down, then you instruct the spider to go somewhere. It starts building it. With fast enough robots, you could probably just program it to walk in a big reducing square and they'd build it fast enough. As are a bit slow at the moment. It's not a big deal. The idea of this is you place it down and then the robots from the square next door just bring the stuff over, build the whole thing out. And on they go. And then at some point you just need to move your depots of things. I guess the issue is you build out to the east, all the robots will gradually move over to the east and they'll park themselves in the roboports that are in the east. But you then build a square in the west. They're all going to go a long distance. So you can't really like do one in the east, one in the west, one in the east, one in the west, because they'll be back and forth, it'll be very wasteful. I mean, you can, they'll do it. It's not the end of the world. Could work okay, I'm just very unsure about it. I like the idea of using the Spidertron, but I'm not sure it's necessarily going to work. I think we give it a go like this. This is like the traditional way of doing it, I guess. Potentially. So we had them all the way around, and then when you build the next one out, they're the only bit that overlaps. And if we need a grid on the inside, we can make a separate one to do the logistics with. Like it can be done. They don't cover much, but that hopefully won't be necessary. Can't say I'm happy about any of it, but I think we need to do more than me just running around building it all. And the Spidertron is essentially that, just on a bigger scale. So I'm not sure about it. And yeah, that patch in the middle. So if we just, in theory, moved them closer. So they're in the middle of there instead, for example. Then you would fit even less in the middle, yeah. Like a roboport, yeah, if that. Yeah. Might simplify some of it though. I mean, that's a... Maybe not do that here. Why don't we go to the other corner and work on that in theory. On that to reach the middle, which is about there. So that one will be there. And that one's there. Did I? Is that right? Doesn't look right. That is to the middle though, isn't it? 14 poles, so 7 poles is the middle, which is there. So that is to the middle, yeah. 1, 2, 3, yeah, okay. Looks a bit funny, the crosses are aligned differently, but that is the middle. Start to turbo. Get rid of the ads. Fair enough. So that one, just copy paste it. That would be there. There and there. So it still leaves a tiny little dot in the middle that doesn't have coverage. So we couldn't ask the bots to then build like a bit of belt there, but that's not what they're for, so that's fine. If you then want to make a network that is not connected to that, it's very awkward, because that pole is in exactly the wrong place. Which I guess you could move that pole. Or you just, yeah, have like one dead center, that's all you can have. Which is not good. Not enough, you know, necessarily bots. You could have that there. To get more bots. Sure. Quite a lot of logistical coverage there. That could be enough in theory. The only purpose of that is it puts those poles in. Which is like a moot point, I guess. I mean, that's not awful. Don't hate that at all. Those poles that are not, they're not really the point. The point is the rail network, the bit that takes a long time to do. If those poles are important, I'm going to be coming over to make something in the square and I can sort that out. We need to bring poles with us anyway to do the stations. So I don't think that's necessary because it means a lot more ports, like there's ones here as well, to do the next square over. We don't need that many around the place, so yeah, I think I favour the first design of these options. On the other side with the bigger poles, sure. Try and stop them doing funny things like that, but that's fine. Or we just don't and we upgrade our armour, our robots and our stuff like that, which isn't going to happen for a long time. Then making roboports isn't going to happen for quite some time. I think we do this. This is the thing to do. And we'll see how it goes. And if it's a complete disaster or whatever, then we just go around and redo them with something different, or just, you know, tear them out and do something different going forward. Good. They've already that short. Just the verticals there. Does mean we definitely can't put Roboport coverage within the depot. And didn't think of that. It's no good because it won't complete the depot like this. It'll leave a big mess in the middle that's missing, and yeah, no good. Really no good. Okay. That doesn't work then. Can't have that. Which can I undo? There we go. And even if we did that closer one, they'd end up where? There and there, which is then not, we know it's not close enough if I do the one on the other side. There? Yeah. Then there's a bit of rail in the middle there that won't get built because it's not covered. Okay. So we'd need them even closer. Which, yeah, creates its own problems, but, I mean, in theory, let's do the theory. Now, instead of being in the middle, we put it up against the rail. Down to the middle. That signal is in the way. Which can't go that way unless we put an extra roboport in, but we can't because the station will be in the way here, so it can't go there. So like the closest it can go is not close enough, so it has to be one away there, there, and there, which is barely closer. It will cover that middle spot. So that is full coverage. Let's take that for down here. And there, but then this edge is a bit weird, harder to tell. That's the vertical middle. It's one over, so yeah, there and there. There. So that lets you, yeah, build the whole depot in properly. Good. Necessary. Creates a bit of a weird connection there. Kind of fun. Then leaves the middle here as even, yeah, even harder to build in. Can go there. Can still fit the 4 dead center. 5 even if you do that one. Though its coverage wouldn't be as good. Which doesn't leave you many things that they can access with logistics bots. But it's something. It's not a small amount of space. It's just not a big amount of space either. That could be workable for some kind of stuff. Just not much. Which I don't do much anyway. And don't particularly feel the need to do much, so it might be fine. That would at least let robots just build outwards while we do other things. Which, if they do that slowly, then so be it, I guess. Need to make a lot of stuff available to them, though. In the process. Which might be fine. I mean, there's not really a specific reason not to cover your entire base in roboport coverage and just leave them to it. This doesn't hurt you in any way. They just fly back and forth, charging up as they go, doing the jobs they've been told to do. There comes a point where there's too many jobs at once. They don't go any faster, but, you know, whatever. They get through it eventually. And it should still use, like, the most sensible robot, the closest robot in storage to do the job. Not confident it will, but it ought to. But okay, let's say that is that. Then on the next one over. That way round. There, sure. I mean, it's not bad, is it? Each square needs 8 or whatever. It doesn't use whatever bot is next for a job, no matter where it is. Interesting. Bots are just in a sequence and it uses the next one. Interesting. What is that sequence? I guess just the order you put them into the machine or whatever is the sequence they're lined up in. Like I say, it's not... The issue is... Oh, it's just arbitrary, sure. It just picks a random sequence. Not random, but yeah, a sequence. Interesting. It's okay if we're... So if you're building out one set of the blueprints at a time, and you build it near the one you just did, it really won't matter. It'll do a fine job. And if the materials are close by, then great. And if they're not, then it takes a long journey, but nothing needs to rearrange itself in a complicated manner. If you're building on one side of the base and then you try and build on the other side of the base, it'll take the robots a long time to fly over there. Okay. But then they fly over there and they build it. Okay. Not a problem. You then tell them to fly back to the other side and build one on that side. Again, it'll take some time. I guess when you'd have a problem, like a real inefficiency, is if you tell them to build on two opposite ends of the base at the same time. And robots are just going like doing one job on the far east and then another job in the far west afterwards. I mean, even so, they're going to do it. If the materials are in the center of the two things, then it won't really matter. But you know, if the materials are all in the east, or if the robots have two different storage chests to pick from, and they pick the further one, which again, maybe they do. I don't know how they work. They shouldn't do that, but they might because they're not super clever. They don't necessarily use the closest storage to build what they're after. Because if they did, then that wouldn't really matter either. That would help the situation be better. Yeah, I don't know. It might not be brilliant, but it will get the base built, and probably quicker than me walking around doing it. Possibly not. Clear that one out because it doesn't work. I do need to work out how we power these ones, which hopefully is as easy as putting a pole out there. I mean, why not? Oh, because that signal's in the way. That's why not. Bring that pole over. Sure. And that one? Yeah. There'll be a pole there for the signals to the station, if there's a station there. But that doesn't change anything really. We could just connect that up for the sake of it all the way across. But meh. That's fine. Add some wings to the poles out here. All the way around. Sure. Let me do a copy. Just the middle bits. There we go. Pull that in with the poles and the shouldn't overlap in a funny way there. One thing that puts me off doing this is just the thought that at some point we're going to want to rip it out, and it's like putting a lot of effort into building it out and then deciding later to just rip it out. But that's, you know, that shouldn't put me off giving it a go and seeing how it does. We can watch it, and if it is rubbish, then we spend some time ripping it out. Okay, at least we learn something in the process. Those ones on the depot are good. They look it. Yep, good. Kind of do want to put the request in, but the fuel is going to change, so that's not any good. Like when we stamp it in, we want it to deliver the fuel in for the train straight away, I guess. Because we can't... I don't think we can do that from the map. Oh, we can copy paste though, can't we? I think. Yeah, that might be okay. Might be okay. Or whatever. We can ride a train over and set up the depot. That's not a big issue, really. It's mainly the building of the rail, I guess, is the main thing. And aligning all the bits and the signals and stuff properly. Fiddly bits that I want robots to do. That all seems acceptable. If all that's there, I could wire it up even without signals. Why haven't we? Let me just jump back into real world. Find a train station. Yeah, it's just wired up like that. It's no big deal. Sure. Red wire from the boxes. And that green wire's already there? Yeah, okay. So we just want to add some red wire to that. To there, and might as well add the depot signal to this. Doesn't do any damage. Because they're always going to be like that. Could set the names of stations and have them pasted in half ready, but half ready is as much as not ready at all in terms of renaming stuff. So I don't think that really matters. I think this is good. We just need to add them roboports into the picture and start making a whole bunch of them, I guess. Although we're a ways off actually using them, so it's not terribly important. We still need to do a bunch of manual building it ourselves. Just doing this now because we're redoing a blueprint anyway. Or doing a blueprint anyway. I think that's all good. It'll do the job for now. It's a better one. Let's get that blueprinted. When we start using it, I'll work out what I've forgotten or missed or whatever, and then we deal with it. We did want to snap. Can't remember the numbers though. We'll deal with that when we get it into the world. And the icon, I have no idea. How do we make it distinctive from the other ones? Maybe we just don't. Just add blueprint symbol so it's different. This is tiny trains 3x3. Create that. Find where it is. There it is. Export. Copy. Back in the real world. I'll bring that in. Put it in the book, and it is 128, 128, minus 40, 28. Is that still going to align properly? No, it's not, is it? Because I cut the edges off. I don't think that works. No, it aligns different. Okay, we need to work out what that is then. It's not 128, 128 anymore. Right, that's what's changed. If I change that, minus 40, 28. And we can... I mean, that looks right, actually. Weirdly. Hard to tell if some of the lines are missing or something, but it kind of looks like it stops halfway through the roundabout. Is it just the offset that needs to change then? Kind of looks like it is. Okay. So instead of minus 40, 28, the change in size is going to change what those numbers are. Just move that down. Vertically, it appears to be in the right place. So just need to move. So it was minus 40. I don't know. Is it still minus 40 in that one? Nope. Wishful thinking there. Minus 40 was too much. It's going to take some filling. So if it's at 0, minus 40 moved it to the right. Either way, it's minus or positive, it doesn't really matter, I guess. A big number? It's it way too far over. Half that. It's it pretty close. But not quite there. Needs to go further left, bigger than that. A lot of stuff is lining up there. The rail is lining up. The stuff that isn't is the roboports and the poles to power them. Everything else is good. Okay. So again, we have that fundamental issue of we can't get rid of all the trees before doing this. Which we'll find a solution to that. Of some kind. But I could put that there. I was going to have trouble because it's trying to put blue belt where there's yellow belt at the moment. Which is fine. So we should be able to just stamp these in without it causing any real drama, other than we don't have enough roboports. And then I can stamp that one in. Before I do that, let's mark out the trees we can mark out. At least helps a little bit. And some more, sure. Then we can stamp that in, and it'll do the whole lot, hopefully correctly. I guess we'll see how it goes. Something not right there? It's changed. Just what we built before. They want to remove it and then put it straight back. Sure, whatever. It'll be fine going forward. So yeah, I suggest we build this 3x3 in to finish off the squaring. And when we've done that, we can work on this oil and get some oil stuff up and running, you know. Let me get out of here. Should I set up Roboport production in the starter base? It's a bit arbitrary at the moment. We might as well set it up in the new base rather than the old one. Things as they are. Yeah, so we won't. Just going to remove them, sure. Did I just mark too much for destruction, probably? Oh well. It's all good. Yeah, we'll build out. Cool. I mean, there's that. Decided. I can't say I'm happy about it. I don't think it's like the perfect solution to getting this place built out, especially the way that it overlaps into the square. It might restrict some of our using of the roboports for logistics stuff in the future, but you know, we'll see how it goes. Won't be a disaster. Hello Pigstyle, welcome in. Hope you're having a good Sunday. We're generally doing well. Some relaxing and boning around for a day. Sounds good. Sounds like a good plan to me. No, oh yeah, no power there because we're not joined it up. There we go. Fine. We do need more stations, I guess, but we can fill them in at the end. That's fine. What other stuff haven't I? Bit short on stuff, but we'll be alright. The robots go. Might as well just leave these ones here. The 4 robots I had are going to get built in somewhere, but they can just live there for a while until we actually start using them. We're going to need to make more than the 20 construction robots I have on me to for it to be worthwhile. And we're going to need to produce all of these elements. I mean, even at the moment, if within the grid we made a rail and made that available to robots, and they just did that, and then we went round and did all the other bits and pieces, that would still be a big help. And we can do some stuff. We should set up the oil processing, get ourselves plastic and sulfur and sulfuric acid, set up steel, and just have a bit of all those things. Then we can set up production of a few, starting with the items that we are using to make the rail squares first of all, and then use those to expand further, I guess. That'll be the kind of direction to take things. Or, I guess the other direction to take things would be getting the other science pack set up and making our robots faster. Yellow science is needed, and then purple would be needed after, yeah. Because the whole issue I'm having with this being kind of dull and repetitive could be solved if they just did it quicker, potentially. On that side, sure, other than the bits we're missing. A few poles in the middle to fill in, do them. Now that's square done, kind of, just the corners. And the signals I've missed down the bottom, sure. Head south, I think. Doesn't really matter, could, yeah. Run around this in any direction, get everything built that we have on hand. We will need a resupply to finish it for sure. Too much there. There we go, tidied up. Need to swap it, there we go. Are they all good? Looks alright. Filled in all the missing signals there, yeah. Good. These poles built in as we go round. While we can, yeah, we got enough for a while yet. Doesn't look like all those trees are marked up. The signal straight away there. There we go. Clear them out. They're struggling with that. Yeah. Is that right? Yeah, bots are okay. It's all good. And that's fine, sure. Oak tree over there. Yeah. These ones too fiddly, easier to chop it myself. Good. A big clump of trees. Be on the right time. 1 sec, just finish this crossover. We are just over 2 hours in, so it's about time I took a short break. Stretch the legs, give the brain a little rest. We poked at some things. I'm a little uncertain, I guess, about how we're approaching the situation, but we'll see it in action. If I don't like it, we'll redo it, and it'll all, you know, work out in the end. I'm sure it'll be fine. That's all good. It was nice to poke at it and consider some different options and think about some stuff regardless, and good to be back to growing. We will, for the rest of the session today, finish building this in, and then once that's all in, we should have a bit of time to just start getting the oil out of the ground, refined, do something with the oil, try and work out how we're going to control all that and stuff. I don't know, it'll be fun. We'll look at that a bit later. But for now, I'll take a short break. YouTube guys, we will see you in the next video, of course. The cut will be in here. See you in the next one. Thank you for watching so far. Don't forget to do your liking and your comments and your subscribing and all the other buttons that YouTube give you. Appreciate all that very much. And Twitch guys, I'll be back in about 5 minutes and we'll carry on. I'll see you shortly.